How's it going, everyone? It's Vivi and welcome to some Spyro the Dragon. This time let's try and dive deeper into the history of cancelled Spyro games. Let's go. We first start with Spyro Ever After from around 2002. Well, the story revolving around this one, basically a developer team who goes by the name Knowledge Adventure, basically was approached by Vivendi Universal for a pitch, something that had to do with the Spyro IP. They told them, hey, let's focus on something that has a connection to the children's educational market. We have a direct quote from ToonFX, one of the artists who was approached by Vivendi. One of the projects I was involved with at Knowledge Adventure was a pitch session on the possibility of leveraging another established property that was owned by the Vivendi Universal conglomerate over to the children's educational market that we worked in. The property was Spyro the Dragon, and the plan was to place this character within a fairy tale environment for a series of adventures. Nothing came of the project, but it gave me the chance to draw Spyro and come up with a number of interesting character designs. There's also a 7 seconds pitch of animation you can find. This was basically planned for PC. What we got so far, this concept art and these 7 seconds of animation. So let's move on to the next one. So this one was around the time period of 2003 and 2004. It's a mix of a spin-off game with a Spyro game which was initially planned for Xbox at least. Back in July 2017, Mike Mika, a design producer known for Spyro Season of Ice, Spyro Season of Flame, and Attack of Rhinox, well, he shared an interesting GIF. A cancelled Spyro game for Xbox. Well, to be technical, the term used was a prototype. If this game had come to full fruition, it would have gone multi-platform. This had no connection to Enter the Dragonfly. This game, according to Mike Mika, predates Enter the Dragonfly. So is there more to this story, Vivi? Yes, quite interesting actually. To start off, the source of this GIF was from Backbone Entertainment. We believe Backbone was going to have a helping hand with this one. They did help with Season of Flame and Attack of the Rhinox. Naturally, for unknown reasons, this project on Xbox, the prototype, was scrapped. What's even more interesting, this whole concept began from an Agent 9 spin-off. This was also around 2003 and 2004. It also had to do with Vivendi Universal. They wanted to focus on a game cool, like a Ratchet & Clank. So they thought of Agent 9 from Spyro 3. There is old footage lurking around. They really wanted it to be James Bond-like. The name eventually switched to Prime 8, thinking that the James Bond aspect to Agent 9 wasn't too appealing to their kid-focused group at the time. Even with the redesigns and all that, they scrapped it ultimately. This was pitched to Blue Tongue Entertainment, by the way. Another pitch was proposed to Backbone Entertainment during the same time. They went through concepts. You can find some of these concepts by Peter Overstreet. I guess for this model, they were thinking of going closer to the model we had in Spyro 3. Let's not look at the model from Reignited, obviously. This model was inspired by the old low-poly model. Mike Mika even posted an intro storyboard draft for this version of the pitch. This was, like I said, for the Backbone version. Nothing came out of it, as always. Clarity Jones, a representative of Backbone Entertainment, said this in the past regarding the subject. Prime 8, which was a game we were developing as a spin-off of Spyro the Dragon, actually eventually became Death Jr. for the PSP. When Prime 8 was cancelled, we still kept messing around with the engine, and eventually Death Jr. was conceived. To this day, I still can't help but wonder what an actual Agent 9 spin-off would look like today. With that said, let's move on to the next one. This one was around the period of 2007. Spyro's Kingdom. This was basically pre-Skylanders era. This was the time period where Vivendi Universal merged with Activision. During this time, Activision approached Toys for Bob for a new idea regarding the Spyro IP. Back in 2012, A GDC presentation done by Mike Stout, designer at Toys for Bob and founder of Toys for Bob, Paul Ritchie, was posted. According to that presentation, they had the idea of a gritty Spyro game at first. It was going to be for an older audience, a darker take on it for the next-gen systems. We worked on some concepts there, but we wanted to go in a different direction and do something more for a younger audience that really rebooted the franchise. Toys for Bob tried the idea of an origami Spyro game even, a tiny Spyro game also. Back in January 2020, an interview was held by Teal Game Master, talking to Paul Ritchie, head of Toys for Bob. What he said during that interview, well, we got even more detail on the ideas they had back then, such as a talking companion egg, motion sensing hats, gameplay which was basically based around sensing body motion, interacting with people that way. He did also bring up a gritty reboot. Spyro and all his inhabitants, they wake up on Earth. They're like basically the size of 6-inch toys. No humans on planet Earth, post-apocalyptic. You basically interact with this mysterious empty world. The game never had an official title. Paul Ritchie, there was an interview back in 2011 regarding the gritty reboot also. Let's blow Spyro out. Let's raise up the age range for him. Let's appeal to the kids over 16 up, and to young adults. Let's make it tough and bloody. And we did all of this concept work and just lost our enthusiasm. That wasn't Spyro. That isn't what our passion was about. It was much more joyous and active, and so we sort of stepped back from that. In the end, Activision wanted to push for something bigger. Thus, the idea of Toys to Life was born. Codename for this project was Spyro's Kingdom. It was the codename basically before Skylanders, according to Ritchie. At the time, Michael Graham, associate producer, had discussed what this game was about. The idea of taking real-life toys and putting them on a device, and unlocking the character. As for the story part, it would have revolved around an adult Spyro, the king of the kingdom. The king of Spyro's kingdom. You would talk to him for quests. Basically, just going off this information, it feels like Spyro was going to be an NPC. There's work-in-progress concepts, by the way, of what the official page was going to look like. This was being commissioned by a company called Haven Agency. You can also find some backgrounds by Haven Agency. There's an even earlier concept for Toys to Life. According to Michael Ebert, designer, super early concept had toy-sized dragons adventuring in a strange version of our world, corrupted by magic. Even an open-world concept was imagined, but that didn't happen until Skylanders Imaginators. What ultimately ended up happening, around 2010, Ritchie explained that Spyro's Kingdom was close to alpha. It was even planned to be a Wii exclusive. I heard there was backlash regarding the consoles the game would be on. Later, they planned it for Xbox 360 and PS3. However, they believed they could do more with the Toys to Life concept. Alas, Skylanders Spyro's Adventure came to be. Now, before this whole Spyro's Kingdom concept, there was another. Spyro's Kingdom, again, but it was going to be an MMORPG. This was around 2010. A developer by the name Helios Interactive approached Activision. They pitched the idea of an MMORPG Spyro game, a massive multiplayer online RPG. The theme and nature would have been based off the Legend of Spyro series, which back then was like the last trilogy of Spyro games. So naturally, a team who was curious would approach Activision. And all we got out of it, well, there is old footage of this game. This was planned for the Wii and PC. Helios' website apparently had a playable demo. It got taken down due to massive traffic, people who found out about this playable demo. If you're curious, yes, there's some concept floating around. There's a concept for Spyro, and this one he has blue eyes instead of the usual purple. And we also got concepts for environments. The White Isle. We got some floating islands, which ultimately in the end became a Skylanders thing. Dragon Temple Grounds, the Forests of Avalar. As you can see, they were aiming for a teenage Spyro. There's even old screenshots of that. This ultimately in the end got rejected by Activision. If anything in the RPG category when it comes to like Skylanders, Spyro, we had Skylanders Universe, a beta version, which lasted until April 29th, 2013. That one was handled by Freema Studios. The website is now defunct. Lastly, something out of 2012 and 2013. This was apparently cancelled. It is a Spyro game, but I guess take it with a grain of salt. There was an article in 2014 posted by Junkie Monkeys. A digital artist back then, by the name Ryan Harrison, claimed to have worked on a Spyro and Crash Bandicoot game. As for the Crash Bandicoot one, feel free to check out the article. As for Spyro, since it's the focus in the video, Harrison couldn't reveal anything more other than the artistic department. The game was apparently in production in April 2012. It was canned in May 2013. While I guess it could apply for Spyro, ultimately, we'd like to believe that these dates were for Crash Bandicoot. According to the article, these games were being done by an independent company, so it seems. Activision wouldn't allow the artist to disclose the name of the games, saying this: "I actually cannot disclose that information because I'm still under a non-disclosure act for both titles, and they do not want the titles released for some reason. Maybe they are going to reinstate it, even though they were both cancelled. However, I was allowed to post my work for them on my accord." According to the same artist, the Spyro project was even older than Crash. Activision never explained why both projects got canned. As for this piece of artwork, it was captioned as Dream World 2. There's another story I heard online. Apparently, the ones behind Spyro Enter the Dragonfly Check 6, there were stories, rumors regarding a Spyro 5, a sequel to Enter the Dragonfly. However, there's been reports of these informations popping up being fake. The website in which you originally found this information no longer works, so that could tell us that yeah, it's just fake and eventually got taken down. Because of that uncertainty, I just thought of not really focusing on it in this video, okay? So with that being said, guys, this is it for the video. If I did forget anything interesting, please say so in the comments, alright? So as usual, if you have other things to say, questions, theories, leave it all in the comment section below. And as always, I've been Vivi, and thank you so much for watching.